Why do I care about my liver?
In Chinese medicine, they call the liver the general of the body because it is a master organ and it controls so many other organs. It affects your weight, being overweight, your immune system, which everybody cares about, especially post-pandemic, and in these days, your immune system. Your skin, if you want to have beautiful skin, if you want to have beautiful hair, take care of your liver. Vitamins, proteins, processing red blood cells, all of these things are done by your liver.
Is it possible that you could help me understand a little bit about how the interplay between the liver and testosterone works?
Testosterone as a hormone is very important to men's health. It also has anti-cancer properties. It's very important for us to have it. As men get older, that decreases. So the liver's responsibility is, besides synthesization of that, helping to balance that. So the liver health is directly related to cognitive function. Your gut biome has an effect on your chemical uptake in your brain that can cause emotives.
What can I do to maintain my liver?
You have to know where you are to begin, is the diagnostics. To be able to be cognizant of your liver, have it tested, have it looked at, and that could be either through blood test or now with the technology with Fibros, which we do, we're Liver Clinic, we're big fans of, is to be able to say, what's my liver state? Is it happy? Is it angry? Is it fatty? Is it healthy? Is it functioning? And then you know where you're at, and then you can do actions, take steps to nurture it, love it, take care of it, heal, what have you. But you need to know where you're at with it. If not, you're driving around blind.
Welcome to the Geniuses Podcast. Siggy Clavion, founder and entrepreneur specializing in plant-based liver health.
Correct.
Plants that cure, that I understand. I think your focus is on taking pharmacopoeia from the plant world, creating a formula that is exceptional and focuses on the transformation and regeneration of liver.
Correct. Yeah, that's definitely our niche. We got phytomedicine, where it's medicine based off of plants and botanicals.
Is that the definition of phytomedicine?
Yeah, it is.
We want to make sure that everybody understands everything.
That's what phytomedicine is. And we use different modalities. So at the end of the day, my mission and our mission is to advance the future of liver health.
Brilliant.
So we're definitely a why business. And our why is to advance the future of liver health, reduce liver disease, prevent liver disease, and heal people that do have that, and make the liver famous, make the liver healthier. Phytomedicines are one of those modalities that we use to do that. We also use cutting-edge technology for diagnostics. Started developing nutraceuticals when I was 20 years old.
What's a nutraceutical?
Nutraceutical is essentially, it's a food-based or plant-based medicine that doesn't fall into the pharmaceutical category.
Okay.
And there's a fine line between the two, and that was the one to do that. So originally, what my focus was on developing, and I use Western medicine.
So nutraceutical is Western medicine?
It doesn't have to be.
Okay.
But the basis of formulation we were using, which is a lot of vitamins, supplements, minerals, amino acids, and it was originally to help people prevent overdoses, which morphed into helping people that had addiction issues, that morphed into detoxification, which gradually evolved into liver health. And along the way, my mentor that helped me start my first company when I was 20, he unfortunately passed away from liver cancer. He was a heavy drinker, and that killed him. And my godfather, who taught me as a young man to be a Renaissance man and to study as much as you can and to have many knowledge bases, he died of cirrhosis. So I've seen firsthand what liver disease could do, the ravishings of it, what little knowledge there was about it. And in about 2003, I was in Thailand, and we were having a discussion. I said, I want to dedicate the rest of my life to trying to help people with liver issues or prevent liver issues, and I went down that path.
So it wasn't until 2003. So you, who had seen 3 of your closest people pass away through various liver conditions, the epiphany didn't quite gel yet.
Yeah.
It was somewhere in the latency of your mind.
Yeah.
And it was in 2003 that you realized that you wanted to tackle this?
As liver specifically. Well, I had spent the years before that formulating and creating really efficacious, really positive detoxification products and products to help with removing toxins. but really kind of starting to hone in on the liver. But even in 2003, I didn't understand how important the liver was. I mean, even today, I learned something about the liver this morning that I didn't know yesterday. So it's consistently evolving.
Why do I care about my liver?
Yeah.
What is it about my liver that is beneficial to me? What value am I going to get by taking care of my liver? What's in it for me?
Well, what's in it for you? In Chinese medicine, they call the liver the general of the body because it is a master organ and it controls so many other organs. And the liver has thousands of functions, thousands, 500 of which are vital. And some of those really affect you in every day. It affects your weight, being overweight, your immune system, which everybody cares about, especially post-pandemic, and in these days, your immune system. Your skin, if you want to have beautiful skin, if you want to have beautiful hair, take care of your liver. Vitamins, proteins, processing red blood cells, all of these things are done by your liver. If you care about gut health, that's your liver. Your liver creates all of the bile that breaks fatty acids down, and there's a symbiotic relationship with gut health. So they're completely intertwined. And it's fascinating because they speak to each other. So it's a two-way street. The liver affects the gut health, and the gut health can also affect the liver health, but it's this master organ.
You know, there's this debate as to whether the microbiome creates your mood and even creates your personality. What is the interconnective play between the liver and the microbiome?
So there's a direct connection because obviously with the microbiome, that can be offset based off of toxicity, environmental factors, and dietary factors. And the liver controls many of those. And in turn, though, if your gut biome is out of whack and is creating more bacteria, more disease, that can go in crossways and start to affect your liver health. Mm-hmm. And when your reason your liver's so important, sexual health, right? Especially as a man, your testosterone is controlled and synthesized by your liver. Because the liver, not only is it an organ, it's also a gland. And as a gland, it's also responsible for things like hormones.
Okay, wait a minute. So if I want great sexual function, I have to have a very strong and healthy liver.
It has a direct correlation, not only in testosterone levels, but I guess in a polite way to say it, if you want to pitch a strong tent, you need to have a strong liver, because if your liver is out of whack, your ability and the size of that tent or the strength of that tent could be directly impacted by that. So 100%. Wow. Women not as much, but men definitely 100%. Erectile dysfunction is tied to fatty liver.
Is it possible that you could help me understand a little bit about how the interplay between the liver and testosterone works? Is there something that we can connect the dots on?
So think of the liver as powerhouses affecting all the organs, blood flow, oxygen in the blood. Everything ties in together. And like the body, everything is multi-parts working together to have what you or I are in right now speaking. And testosterone as a hormone is very important to men's health. It also has anti-cancer properties. It's very important for us to have it. As men get older, that decreases. So the liver's responsibility is, besides synthesization of that, helping to balance that.
When you say that, you mean testosterone?
Testosterone, correct.
Okay.
Well, and estrogen as well.
Okay.
And progesterone.
So it synthesizes the testosterone.
It synthesizes it as a gland. It helps create them, and it has a direct correlation on other glands that are producing, obviously, testosterone as well, which has a lot to do with, obviously, the testes.
Right.
So everything's interconnected. So your liver health is directly connected to that.
Brilliant.
And you touched on something really interesting. So not only is your gut health directly related to your emotions, also the liver health is directly related to cognitive function. So there's a direct correlation between the two. And your gut biome has an effect on your chemical uptake in your brain that can cause emotives and can lead to certain correlations that we're seeing now with depression and all these things as well. Liver health on the other side, one that has a fatty liver has decreased cognitive function. There were the first symptoms of fatty liver, which 38% of the adult population has now in the West, is brain fog.
In the United States?
In Western world.
Western world. Okay,
also India as well, but Australia, Europe, countries that are monitored, it's as a global average is about 25%.
Okay.
38% in the Western world are more industrialized.
We had Dr. Gallitzer here, who's an energy medicine specialist, and he also talked about how the liver is the master. The general, is it?
General of the body.
General of the body. This notion of brain fog, how does the general of the body relate to brain fog? And because I know that most of us want to function at our peak performance, mentally and physically, and I hear a lot about brain fog. Talk to me about what the correlation is between liver health and brain fog.
Well, as one of the liver's main functions is cleansing and purifying the blood, filtering as well. Kidneys filter, but liver also filters, but it's also doing all the cleansing. If your liver's not functioning as well, you have more toxins. As you have more toxins, that can be disruptive in neurotransmission. It can affect your circulatory system. If your liver's fatty, your liver's ability to do those things goes down as well. Therefore, functionality goes down and the direct correlation. So really interesting. There's been studies that have shown that, for instance, someone that's obese versus someone that's thin will test lower scholastically or in an academic test because of that. So there's a direct correlation between higher liver fat and lower cognitive function.
So if we want greater cognitive function, we have to have a healthy liver.
That's one of the things that we would do, but yeah, very important.
And it's in the liver's primary role is to detoxify the blood.
It's one of its main functions. It has so many.
Okay. Can we walk through some of its functions and is there a metaphor that you like to represent the liver and its functionality?
I've heard different ones. I mean, for me, it's a general because it's connecting all the other organs.
Okay.
It's so complex. It's the largest organ in the body. The largest internal organ is your liver. Your largest
I didn't know that.
overall organ is your skin. So it's about 3 pounds, or as I like to say, it's about the size of a chihuahua.
So I understand that the liver, the general of the body, one of its functions is to detoxify the blood. But I don't know that I really understand beyond a general layman's understanding what the various other roles the liver plays in maintaining well-being. Is there a metaphor that you like? Is there something that can help me and the audience understand the liver's function and its importance better?
I guess if you were to compare it to, I've never done this before, maybe to a car. So it's probably where the engine, just kind of revving over is the heart, the computer chips is the brain, but the transmission, which affects all parts of the car, and the electrical system would be the nervous system, would probably be the liver. Because besides the liver being in charge of cleansing your blood, keeping you clean, fighting toxins, it's the master of your immune system, even more so than the lymphatic system. It works in tandem with the lymphatic system to protect you, but the liver is the daddy, if you will, or the master of your immune system. When we eat food, it is responsible for breaking down proteins. It creates the bile acids that go into the gut that break fatty acids down so that they can then convert them into glycans, to sugars, to energies, to fats, and to proteins. So your liver is responsible for all of those as well. Plus deriving the vitamins out of the food that we eat and storing those vitamins. Plus it also stores what they call glycans. Glycans is when your body goes through the process of breaking down certain foods, it stores glycans as energy to be used later. That's why you want to keep your glycans in balance. And that is another very, very important function that the liver does. The liver is so complex that with modern technology, we can replicate most organs with machines or technology. If you have a lung issue, there's an iron lung, or there's a machine. If you get a heart transplant, there's a pulmonary machine.
Right.
You have dialysis for kidneys.
Right.
But the liver is so complex that we cannot replicate it, or have not thus far been able to replicate, because it has so many functions, it's so complex, and it's so sophisticated.
That's unbelievable, and I can't believe that most of us don't have a stronger understanding of our liver health. So, in your experience, what do you think is the most effective, I don't want to say remedy, because I think that you have to have maintenance of your liver, but let's assume that those 38% of the population that do have a problem with their liver, what is a great remedy for them? So the question is two-part. A, what can I do to maintain my liver, and what can those who have fatty liver disease do to remediate their liver function and detoxify?
I think the very first step, it's kind of like, the old adage, you have to know where you are to begin, is the diagnostics. To be able to be cognizant of your liver, have it tested, have it looked at, and that can be either through blood test or now with the technology with Fibros, which we do with Liver Clinic, we're big fans of, is to be able to say, what's my liver state? Is it happy? Is it angry? Is it fatty? Is it healthy? Is it functioning? And then you know where you're at, and then you can do actions, take steps to nurture it, love it, take care of it, heal, what have you. But you need to know where you're at with it. If not, you're driving around blind. And that's health in general, right? We need to know. That's why the future of medicine is preventative medicine, and preventative medicine starts with knowledge, and knowledge starts with diagnostics and being aware.
Well, we love diagnostics here at
Yeah.
Randox. We have, as you know, an 80 blood test panel that's $395.
Yeah.
We call it the Discovery Package. And that was actually the first time that I really started to think about my liver at all. The FibroScan, which we did yesterday, and was so not problematic. It was non-invasive, so simple. It was just one of the easiest things in the world. How much is a FibroScan for an average consumer to perform?
So in the UK, you've got about 22 million people with fatty liver. In the US, it's about 100 million. Most people, 98% of them, probably don't know they have it. They've got symptoms of it, but they're not really related to it. It touches on what you said earlier, is most people don't know much about the liver, what it does, where it's located, how important it is. So being aware of that and kind of bringing that into your yearly lifestyle and your part of your annual checkup, getting it scanned. A blood test regarding to liver will tell you, is it inflamed? Is it angry? What's going on? It can tell to a degree. It can't tell if it's fatty. It can tell a lot, but it can't tell everything. And what you need to do is you need to combine that with other blood, so cholesterol. Cholesterol is a derivative and controlled and synthesized by your liver. So
most of us have some sort of high cholesterol
Exactly.
issue in our blood test. So I'm sorry, I'm going to drill down a little.
Yeah.
The FibroScan is about how much, do you think?
So in the UK, if you try to get it with the NHS,
Yeah.
there's about a 1 to 2 year wait list to get it done.
Wow.
Because of inefficiencies in the way that it's set up, the NHS spends about 700 to 1,000 pounds by the time you get a FibroScan to get it done. If you would go to a private GP practice in the UK, it ranges between 300 to 600 to get a FibroScan. In the US, it ranges between 200 to 1,000 depending on the clinic where it is. So there's the cost aspect of it, but what else is really important is making it readily available to people so that you can come into it. Just like why I was really drawn to Randox, and we formed this amazing relationship and partnership, is because Randox is bringing health and diagnostics to the forefront, to the high street. You can be walking down the road. You can, what? I want to see where my blood's at. I want to go in and get a discovery done, or I want to get my genes looked at. Or in the UK, we have one called the 150 package, 150 biomarkers on one blood test. If you wanted to do that with the NHS or with your doctor here, you'd be fighting with insurance. It would be this huge ordeal, and it's everybody's right to know where you're at.
Well, we have 3 of these FibroScan machines now in clinics in the UK.
Correct.
And we're hoping to put one here in LA.
Yep.
At 900 Wilshire. So what are the addresses of the 3 clinics in the UK, or what is the areas that someone could go and get a quick FibroScan and get a discovery package? I think the price is even less in the UK. Do you know the addresses there?
So Randox is priced very competitively because at the end of the day, we're trying to get people looked at, diagnosed, and see where they're at with it as well. So the main locations we went with are the Great Portland Street location, which is in central London. Also, we have one down in Canary Wharf, which is the business section, where where you've got a lot of bankers, people that have let's just say a richer lifestyle, more stressful lifestyle.
You can pop in over your lunch break.
Your 60-70% of those men are going to have fatty liver disease. Now, if you think about it, if you're a banker, and some bankers are controlling billions of pounds or billions of dollars at any moment, if 60 to 70% of them have fatty liver, that means 60% of them are cognitively handicapped. What value is it for them to be able to know where they're at and then to take corrective measures to fix that? The other location is in Hollywood, Belfast, which is where Randox is originally from, is from Belfast, Northern Ireland, and that's where the 3rd location is. In discussion to Randox, we're doing really cool, innovative things as far as going into a business and maybe going in and taking their bloods, taking their scans, going in and kind of a VIP service into a business so that the company's employees don't have to leave and go through the rigmarole of going to a clinic and getting referred and all this. You cut out all that noise and all that paperwork and red tape by just direct to the consumer, and affordably.
And to your point, if I'm a business owner and I have my staff in brain fog and cognitively impaired, even if it's a small percentage, I can get better performance with a small cost. So the FibroScan now also is not invasive at all. It was just super, it took 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I just lay down and you patch it onto my liver and send some sound waves. And it was invented by a cheese.
There was this brilliant French engineer in Paris that specializes in this type of technology. And in France, obviously, the cheese industry is very, very important. And you've got these huge wheels of cheese that you need to know when they're ready to sell. But you have to break one open to find out how soft is it, how hard is it ready to go? And so he'd originally invented this technology to go, and what it does is it shoots a wave of sound through the cheese, and then ultrasound behind it, and it measures it with algorithms and computer technology to see whether it's ready to go. It wasn't very successful for cheese, but this technology was incredible and it was cutting edge. So Laurent, the founder and the chief technology officer for EcoSense, said, let's try to apply this for maybe health. And they looked at it, and the only organ that it works really well on is the liver. And because the liver is very soft, the softer your liver, the happier it is, the healthier it is.
Nice.
And so when you're hitting the liver with the sound and then measuring with the ultrasound, you're getting this wave. And then you can say, okay, it tells you how stiff is it? Is there high stiffness? Is there scarring? Is there signs of scarring? Is there liver fat? How much liver fat? So what generally would take an MRI or a biopsy, right? Very expensive. One has high risks. They're very invasive. Can now be done in under 10 minutes, very comfortably, sitting in a massage bed at your office or at a clinic or at a Randox location. You come in and out, 15 minutes.
I love it. And so Laurence is the inventor.
Correct.
And the company is EcoSense.
Correct.
Well done, Laurence. Well done, EcoSense. The FibroScan is brilliant. And we're looking forward to having it here at 900 Wilshire as well. So let me ask you a question. So back to sexual function, cognitive function. I mean, forgive me, but most of us right now want quality of life.
Yeah.
It's no longer the thesis of lifespan that seems to be prevailing in terms of the well-being and regenerative space. It's health span that seems to be the critical measurement, right? Am I functional? Am I healthy? Am I vibrant? Am I enjoying my life? So if I can do something that's going to make me more vibrant and have a greater health span, what lifestyle choices do you see affecting liver health? Is there a diet? Is there an exercise influence? And I know that alcohol plays a significant part in the cirrhosis and the degeneration of liver well-being. Can you speak to that a little bit and walk me through those three items: lifestyle, diet, and alcohol?
So there's once again, with the lack of knowledge or understanding of the liver, most people, the majority of people, will think that liver health is directly related to alcohol. Like, well, I don't drink, therefore I got a really healthy liver, I don't have a liver issue, which couldn't be further from the truth. The vast majority, 2/3 or more, of people with liver disease today are non-drinkers.
Wow, I thought it was 51%. It's not?
No, it's 2/3 of cirrhosis of the liver, which is very severe late-stage liver disease, to where your liver basically functionality is going down. You're going to need a liver transplant, or unfortunately, it'll lead to death. It used to be less than 10% of people with cirrhosis were non-drinkers. Cirrhosis is what alcoholics or people that drank a tremendous amount of alcohol got, or had some kind of toxicity or poisoning. As of 2022, we hit an inflection point to where now 51% of people with cirrhosis are non-drinkers. So alcohol is not even the majority for cirrhosis, and it's far well below the majority for liver disease as a whole.
So everyone can drink away, we're happy, we're good, we can continue
not
drinking.
at all. But you have a lot of societies and cultures, such as, maybe people that follow Islam or the Hindu religions or certain Christianities, and more and more people aren't drinking.
Gotcha.
Right? So there are a lot of people that
so
don't
they
drink.
think they're immune from
They
liver.
think they're immune to liver disease.
Now I understand.
And that is a very scary misconception to have, is they think, oh, well, I don't drink, so I have a liver issue. Well, unfortunately, 2/3 of people with liver disease do not drink. So that is a very, very important thing. So what's driving that is it's a combination of things. It's sedentary lifestyle is one.
So exercise.
Or lack of exercise,
Lack.
sitting at a desk all the time.
Yeah. So if you want to have good liver function, exercise.
If you want to have good health, a good life, you need to exercise, right? Stress, blood flow, organ flow, fat, obese. 90% of people that are obese have fatty liver disease. 65% of type 2 diabetics have fatty liver disease. And in turn, people that have fatty liver disease, it's a driver of type 2 diabetes. It's a driver of obesity. So that, once again, goes both ways.
The correlation.
They drive and they feed off of each other. And what's driving the liver disease is, besides sedentary lifestyle, one of the bigger things is actually its diet. Diet is probably one of the biggest. And that is high fructose corn syrup, chemicals, synthetic sugars, those are the things, drugs, certain pharmaceuticals, that's what's really, really driving it. We've seen some of our worst cases of fatty liver disease in 20, 21-year-olds who have a diet high in fast food, fried food, diet sodas. Synthetic sugars are actually anything that's chemical. In the last 100 years, we've introduced over 83,000 chemicals into the human diet on this planet. The liver has not caught up to that. It's so complex, and the liver's being overwhelmed. And that's why you see liver disease go up 400% in the last 50 years.
Oh, gosh.
You look at a World Health Organization stat and you see population growth, all the other diseases, pretty much they stay in line, and we're starting to really push some of these diseases down, which is great. Diabetes is coming above that, but liver disease is up 400%. It looks like an outlier on a graphical sense.
Do you have a hack for me? Like, what do I do? How do I stay on? I mean, I'm grateful, and maybe we'll go through your chart later, because I understand that it measures both the softness and the fattiness of your liver.
Correct.
So the FibroScan looks at that, and then the Randox tests.
The blood tests will look at the other things.
Look at the other things, which is the enzymes that the liver is producing that tells you whether the liver function is healthy or not.
Correct. Also, glucose in the blood, I think, is really important.
Very important.
And cholesterol. So if a blood test on its own generally won't tell you if you've got fatty liver. It'll tell you if you've got inflammation or an infection or something like that. But what the doctors have had to do traditionally is they'll say, well, cholesterol's high, was it used to be high? And they'll look at all these things, and then they might suspect or say, well, you've probably got fatty liver. But that's where it stops. They don't generally take you further than that. Tying in the FibroScan or the scanning technology with the blood test, you get the full picture. And if you want to have good liver health, you have to have the full picture. So then you can make corrections to do that, such as exercise, dietary, sleep, all the things that make up these attributes.
So healthy living seems to be the hack.
It's a hack for everything. Yeah.
So there's no shortcut. You got to do the work. You got to show up to yoga. You got to do your yoga. You got to eat well, clean. Stay away from stay away from fried foods. Stay away from fast foods.
Chemicals.
Modesty and moderation with alcohol. Try to limit the use of pharmaceuticals. Are there any plant cures or plant remedies to regenerate the liver?
So we have a hack. I mean, that's what we did is my solution wasn't to just educate and to diagnose, but to affect change, right? And to have an impact on people's health. And to do that, I worked with doctors, scientists, a lot of people smarter than me, more experienced than me from all over the world to do that. And while I started with Western medicine, it wasn't giving me all the answers I knew. Whereas Western medical technology has the ability to do a liver transplant and to look at a cellular level of the liver. But there's so much of the liver they don't understand. So then you look to the other side of the planet, we have Eastern medicine, which is Ayurvedic, you've got ancient Persian Ayurvedic medicine, you've got Korean traditional medicine, Chinese traditional medicine. They have 5,000 years of kapia, or of written history of medicines and modalities and things that help the liver. So we went as a group, we went to there to look for knowledge to help create something that really, really worked. And it took a combination of traditional herbal medicine, 5,000 years of wisdom, cutting edge Western medical technology, and we fused those together to create the phytomedicines such as Deliverance and other formulas that we're constantly working on and developing to hack that system.
So that's Deliverance right there. Can you pass me the box?
Yep.
So I've taken this, and it's fantastic. Deliverance. And what is the function of Deliverance? What is it that is so special about this product?
So besides the fact that there's 18 years of R&D and universities, clinical studies, scientific studies, doctors, thousands of years of history on these ingredients, was formulating them all together. And there's no single silver bullet within them. It's the combination of all those things. I say it's like a symphony, right? You listen to a beautiful symphony, it's not necessarily the cello or the piano or the guitar. It's a combination of everything working synchronistically, just like the human body does.
Right.
If you want to have really good skin, it's not just the liver, it's your hydration, what are you doing for this? You have to do many things together just if you want to have a healthy lifestyle. You can be physically healthy, but you're not mentally healthy, right? So it's everything together.
So do you just take one a day?
So we do recommend one a day for overall health.
You can't do two a day?
You can do two a day. So if you have a serious condition such as maybe type 2 diabetic, or you have severe fatty liver disease, it's 2 a day until you get into the green zone, and then we lower the dosage to 1 for maintenance.
Nice.
Some people just take it as a one-off. Maybe you've got people super, super fit, and they don't like to take these all the time, so they maybe do a week of Deliverance, do a nice liver regeneration, then they
Nice.
come off of it. And we have some customers that just use it as needed. Just they want a shot of mental clarity or they want a shot of goodness. I take one a day
Nice.
as what I do for my health. I keep my cholesterol low, my liver fat in check. I love the mental clarity. My immune system's boosted. And this, so there's 17 ingredients, but we're doing lots of things.
What are some of the ingredients?
So you've got astragalus, which is very good for the immune system,
Okay.
helps the liver. You've got choline, which is a very essential amino acid that's found all throughout nature, but that is a very good feature where it can actually help metabolize liver fat. So we're really targeting and going after those with fatty liver disease to help pull them out of it.
That's
and to
the
help
sea
remove-
kelp?
No, that's the choline. That's an amino acid.
Okay.
There is a sea kelp in there, which is one of the miracle, I think, molecules that's in there. And sea kelp, there's 10,000 types of sea kelp to grow all over the world, specifically this brown type. There's one type that grows in southern Korea off of the Jeju Island. And for thousands of years, the locals have actually made tea and drank these leaves. It's called Clonia cava is the name of it.
Okay.
And they took it for mental clarity as a tea. And something else that was really interesting is that the fish that live in these sea kelp forests are actually much healthier, much juicier, and are prized in the fish markets because of the robustness and the health of these fish. And these kelp forests are incredible. They're 400 feet high sometimes.
Wow.
So they're like an underground redwood forest of kelp that's constantly regenerating. And I mean, if you want to talk about an environmental impact, one of the greatest carbon sinks in the world is sea kelps.
Wow.
So it's also cleaning the air. So we're having some things looked at. The kelp forest that we get that only grow in this one part of the world, there's a molecule that exists in this. So here's, you take this cutting edge, this amazing old sea kelp that's this beautiful forest and beautiful plants and animals.
Is there
and
a
fish.
particular strain of sea kelp?
It's the only one that only grows in Jeju Island, which is in the Sea of Japan off of South Korea. And Dr. Lee, who's a partner of mine and a very good friend, had identified that there's a molecule that exists only in this particular one of 10,000. And its antioxidant properties are off the charts.
What is the molecule?
It's well, that's the molecule that's in it. He has named it Ceanol as the trade name.
Okay.
It's 150 times stronger than any land-based antioxidant on the planet.
Wow. How do you spell
means
Ceanol?
Ceanol. And that's actually a play on words. It's an abbreviation for sea-based polyphenols, which is a super antioxidant.
You
And
also have ginseng in this?
we use red ginseng. I'm obsessed with quality, so it probably comes from the winemaking is quality. We use a 6-year-old Korean red ginseng,
Okay.
and it's very expensive to get, but it's very, very good quality, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, mental clarity, energy as well. Yeah.
So red ginseng, so I know that there's different types of ginsengs.
Correct.
Right? Yin and yang,
Yeah.
heat and cold.
Correct. And
Is
there's Chinese, Siberian, and Korean. Those are
Okay.
the 3 ones as well.
Do you want to share with me a little bit why you chose red ginseng and the difference between the few?
The antioxidant and the polyphenol level was much higher.
Okay.
It's how it's treated, how it's taken care of. And I looked at
And that's Korean
that's
ginseng.
Korean.
Okay.
A big difference is when I looked at certain, and I could save 90% of my cost of ginseng if I went and got Chinese ginseng.
Sure.
But when I looked at it, remember, it's also what's in the soil around it. And we did heavy metal testing and pesticides and those things. I'm trying to get poisons out of your body, not add them. So every ingredient is hand selected and hand picked and vetted.
Brilliant.
South Korea has a very high standard of quality, whether it comes to pharmaceuticals, to nutraceuticals, to televisions, they're a country with no resources, but are very, very successful based off of quality and technology. And they have that same emphasis in their ginseng. So I find it to be the superior and the best. Yeah.
Well, shoot, just those 2 items by themselves I want.
Yeah.
If I could take the Ceanol and take the red ginseng and it's in one package, I'm winning.
And we're going to use 17. Like we use a French organic peppermint oil that I have made in France. And we do that because it also helps with spleen, helps with digestive issues,
Wow.
helps with the spleen. It also helps produce biles and things that affect the gut.
Yeah.
One of the ingredients in there helps with oxygenation in the blood.
So how much is this going to cost me, this pack? How many is in this pack?
That's 12 bottles that are in
Nice.
there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that can cost you anywhere from 60 up to 90, depending if you take it every day or every month. Most of our clients tend
So
to
this
take it every
box
day.
is how much?
It's $89.
$89. And you can get it at the Randox locations?
You can't get it at the Randox locations, but as you know, as the liver clinic is a partner, we're a recommended liver health specialist with Randox, whether that be getting you the top hepatologists in the country, the top technology, getting you in for an MRI, fibro scanning, liver consultations. This happens to be the best supplement that's out there. We created it. And
so how do I get it?
You can get it online. We're going to be launching in John Bell and Croydon, which is the top pharmacy in the UK. It was the Queen's Pharmacy, very famous. We have top hotels, Peninsula Hotel brand in the spas, functional medicine doctors, health clinics.
And it's loveyourliver.com?
Loveyourliver.com.
Okay, so if somebody who's watching this is suffering from fatty liver, they can go to loveyourliver.com, order a 12-pack for $89, come into Randox, get a blood test, and start to optimize and iterate. How long does it take to see a difference?
The mental clarity aspect, so back to the super molecule, the CNL, that's super high in antioxidants, one of its very, very cool attributes is it increases neurotransmission. So we have neurotransmitters throughout our entire body. Most of them are in the brain. So as the neurotransmission increases, you get really good mental clarity. So this product has three legs it stands on. One is it optimizes your liver health and helps regenerate the liver, gets the liver really going really good. Two, you get a great shot of mental clarity. That's from the increased neurotransmission in the brain from the CNO. The ginseng is also giving you that as well, plus more oxygen in the blood. And then thirdly is its antioxidants are so high and the anti-inflammatories in that are so high that your immune system's boosting. So think of better immune system, more mental clarity, more and optimized liver health.
And ginseng is good for sexual health, I understand.
Ginseng is very good for sexual health.
So the red ginseng is actually yang? Okay. So now that we've kind of covered Deliverance, what to look, what to do should you want to optimize and eliminate mental fog and basic health, what are some of the signs that we should all be looking out for that might indicate that our liver is under stress?
So the first one is probably brain fog is one, fatigue is one. As they say, fatty liver equals fatty waist, weight gain can be doing it as well. Also skin issues. A lot of when people have breakouts, that's generally related to something they've taken, toxins, hormones, and if the liver's not functioning very well, toxins are literally manifesting and trying to get out. So breakouts can be a symptom of that as well. Yellowish
Reese's
in the
peanut
eyes.
Butter cups?
Well, it's some of the chemicals that are in Reese's peanut butter cups. I do love a Reese's peanut butter cup, but I have to get organic ones now because all the preservatives and chemicals that are in there.
High fructose corn syrup.
High fructose corn syrup. Yeah, absolutely.
So if I'm suffering from brain fog, some of those symptoms are shared. And as we understand, it's probably because if you have those symptoms, many of the... so how does the liver interact with the other organs?
I can touch on type 2 diabetes and the correlation if you want, or I can also do the other organs. So one of the liver's functions as it's dealing with it is it has the receptors that are dealing with sugars and insulin, so it's dealing with that. As the liver gets fattier, the surface area where those receptors are diminished and they're basically covered with fat. So the ability to start dealing with insulin and to dealing with sugar and all that gets basically messed up and the functionality goes down. Pancreas starts to get overloaded. So one of the first steps to type 2 diabetes starts with fatty liver, which is very much so ties in. So you talk about other organs, let's talk about the heart. Okay, two of the biggest drivers of cardiovascular disease are metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes. Both type 2 diabetes and metabolic syndrome generally have fatty liver or start with a fatty liver. Your fatty liver is starting you down the path of both of those conditions, which are now directly affecting cardiovascular and the heart. More and more studies are coming out and pointing to this as well. So there's a direct correlation. Also cholesterol. If your liver's not functioning as well and you're not breaking the cholesterol down, you got the three main cholesterols we want to look at is you got LDL, which is the bad one, which they're fat, they're lipids, they're fats. HDL, which is the good cholesterol, and that acts as a transport mechanism carrying the bad cholesterol between the cells and the liver to be processed and broken down. Then you've got triglycerides. Those are the fats that are floating around, the three little fats that are floating around and causing issues. Why people are so concerned about cholesterol and cardiovascular diseases, if you have higher cholesterol or more fats going around your bloodstream, you start to build up calcium and plaque. That starts to clog arteries, then you run into problems with strokes, heart attacks, all kinds of heart issues, right? So if you back all that up, the root cause, if you can keep your main engine transmission filter keeping all those low and in sync and in synchronization or in equilibrium, the chance of the other thing happening diminish greatly.
So
There is a direct correlation with the heart
I did not know that as well.
or the pancreas. If liver gets too fatty, starts to get overloaded, doesn't deal with sugars as much, pancreas starts to get overloaded, you can get pancreatitis, it can potentially lead to pancreatic cancer. Gallbladder is attached to the liver as well. There's working with a group in Holland that's doing a big study that there seems to be, and we suspect, a big correlation between liver disease and having your gallbladder removed. And it's helping with the liver to do that as well. So there's no caffeine in it or any sugar that should be doing that. Some people do have a little more sensitivity to ginseng, and everybody's physiology is different. Yeah. Right.
I probably should take it in the morning.
Yeah.
Others do it at night.
There's no wrong time to take it. Try it different points.
Okay.
Women, for instance, so women are built obviously different than men. Men tend to take it in the morning. It's a habitual thing. They get going. They want the mental clarity, and they go. Women tend to get tired in the afternoon, between 3 and 5 in the afternoon, just how their clocks are done. They tend to get more fatigued. That's when I feel a lot of women tend to, which is the majority of our customers, tend to take Deliverance because they want that mental clarity, but they may not want to have a coffee or a caffeine because that's going to direct affect their sleep that evening.
So instead of the coffee, snap a Deliverance. Have great sleep that evening.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Correct. Any other mental clarity things that we talked about are, very important for overall health. So whether it be yoga, exercise, reading, praying, these are all beautiful, meditating, these are all wonderful things that improve your health. They have, transcendental meditation literally can de-age you. It's one of those things that after 10, 20 years of doing transcendental meditation, your biological age actually starts to go back. There's not many things.
What is the definition of transcendental meditation?
It's a specific modality of meditation. And I'm not a trained expert in it. I have a lot of friends that do it. I have some really attractive older people I know that do it, that love it. Edith, who we said earlier, she does it as well. I think they give you you have a certain word or a power word or a mantra base that you repeat over and over, and that's part of the regime or almost the lullaby of getting into the melodic state or the meditative state. It goes well. You want to talk about a hack for meditation?
Yes, I do.
Flotation tanks. Flotation tanks are incredible because it's sensory deprivation.
Right.
You go into the tank, you take a shower, you lay down, the buoyancy is equal, so you float. There's no smell, there's no sound, there's no sight, it's dark, pitch black, so you shut all these things off. Remember I said your energy? So you're not using your optic nerves, you're not using audio nerves, you're not really feeling anything, it's temperature neutral, and you're floating. So you're basically, you're just you and your mind, and then your mind can be calm, and then you can go into a meditative state. That's a hack for people that have a hard time meditating. Go try a flotation tank.
And is the water salinated? Is flotation achieved?
The salinity is so high that you float.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I've never done it, but it sounds interesting.
That is a hack right there.
There's only 2 or 3 things I want to touch on before we wrap it out.
Yep.
Hydration, liver health and hydration. What do we need to know?
Absolutely critical. So as I said, the liver, softer it is, the better it's working. Now, as it's cleaning the blood, if you look at a liver updone as there's thousands of arteries and veins going through it, right? And fluid and blood's going through it. It's cleaning your blood. It's cleaning your blood. It's dealing with the vitamins and the proteins. It's processing old red blood cells, right? It's another thing it's doing. Is you want your blood to be thinner. People that are well hydrated, your blood flows better. It flows faster. The liver can process it better as well. So if you're hydrated, your liver and your kidneys will function better doing their job. If you're dehydrated, its ability to do that. It's kind of like, metaphor would be, think of an engine. Yeah. If you have an engine and you run out of oil, you're going to cause damage to that engine and you need oil. And some people get so obsessed about even with diet, do I eat this? Do I don't eat this? Do I drink this? Do I not drink this? I'm like, Jesus, have the donut or have the glass of wine. The stress is causing you more damage than the glass of wine would. Yeah. But it's in moderation. There is very high antioxidants in red wine called resveratrol, which have a lot of benefits. There's a lot of cultures that we've seen that happen to have better heart health and drink a lot of wine. There's also studies coming out now that are saying that it is negative. But at the end of the day, alcohol is a toxin. But we're having a human experience in life. If you do it in moderation, drink water afterwards, take a Deliverance afterwards, drink high quality alcohol. One of the things we should be worried is the pesticides in it. So if you're going to drink wine, get something that's biodynamic, doesn't have pesticides in it, no sulfates, have a big glass of water, don't drink too much. but it does cause damage. And you have to know that. Another thing that causes damage is they call it DILI, and I call them the DILIs. And DILIs is drug-induced liver injury.
Wow.
So a lot of the injuries that we're seeing, and some of the worst cases that we've had of liver disease, cirrhosis, fibrosis, scarring damage, is from drugs. Paracetamol is one. Most pharmaceuticals cause liver damage.
They impact the liver in a way that the liver cannot actually react to it.
And they could cause damage, and you have the reactions to it. So here's one of the things with alcohol. So when you take alcohol in, so alcohol comes in, you drink it, takes about 30 minutes to metabolize. Most people don't know that. That's why they think, oh, they'll do a shot, and they'll be like, oh, I'm not drunk, I'll take another one. It takes about 29 to 30 minutes for your body to metabolize alcohol if you start to feel it. And it compounds. That's why you can get, if you have one beer every hour and a half, you don't really get drunk. We have too many, you start to overwhelm the liver can't keep up, then you start to get drunk. But what happens with alcohol is it's not the alcohol that's actually causing most of the damage. So it's when the liver breaks and metabolizes that alcohol down, it creates a byproduct called alcohol dehydrogenate. Mm-hmm. That little bad boy is super toxic. Mm-hmm. That's what's causing actually the damage, is the residual, basically waste of your liver breaking the alcohol down. That's the super poison as well. So the more you drink, the more your liver has to break it down, the more the alcohol dehydrogenate, which is getting in, which is causing damage. And looked under a 50,000x microscope, they look like little crystals. And these crystals basically obstruct functionality and can cause damage. And too much of it can cause scarring. So cool thing about the liver, which we didn't touch on, is it's the only organ in the human body that fully regenerates. So let's say, for instance, you needed a liver transplant. They do a thing called a live liver transplant. They lay us together. They take a third of my liver out of me. They would put that into you. And then after a couple, sometimes within weeks, definitely within a month, mine will grow back. And that little third will grow into a full double-sized full organ within you, and you've got a whole liver. Yeah. No organ in the human body fully regenerates except for the liver.
So we're going to close out. Genetics, how does that play?
So genetics do have something to do with it too, and I advise this strongly, especially living in the UK where we've got a large population of from Southern Asia. People of Indian descent, Pakistan, Bangladesh, they actually accumulate fatty liver much faster than other ethnicities. Wow. So they have to be very cognizant of that. So in India today, 1 in 3 children are born with fatty liver disease. No alcohol. It's the amount of basically cheap calories the mother's consuming, those calories get in there causing the baby. So they're much more genetically predisposed, and different ethnicities have different predispositions. Africans, the people of African descent, have higher heart disease. Scandinavians tend to have more strokes. Type 2 diabetes in the Middle East is twice what it is in America. Wow. And in America, it's outrageous. So genetics have a lot to do with it. I think, and I'm a big believer in doing pharmacological testing. And I've worked actually with Dr. Ruddick, and I'm really fascinated with what Randox is doing with that. And I've done for my family is you want to run your DNA and your genetics. You only have to do it once. And then you can run that against pharmacological databases to find out if you do take a medication, what works and what doesn't work. That, I think, is the future of personalized medicine. And personalized medicine diagnostics are the future of medicine and preventative health and having better quality of life.
That's everything that we're about, personalized medicine.
Absolutely.
Looking into your future health and making the changes now. Correct. With a little bit of guidance so that you can have the future health that you want.
Yeah, absolutely.